Professor Breen Brown's research shows that vulnerability fosters good emotional and mental health. It is a sign of courage. We become more resilient and brave when we embrace who we truly are and what we are feeling. The Vulnerable Scientist podcast is a space for scientists to tell their honest and authentic stories. I am your host, Sarah Nyakeri, who happens to be a scientist, informal science communicator, and I help scientists create personal websites. If you want to support this show, go to www.patreon.com/thevulnerable-scientist. You can also follow this podcast on all social media platforms at TV Scientist Pod. So at this point, we've talked about your journey, and what you're currently doing now, and what is driving you. I think from this point, someone can easily tell what you're passionate about and where that is coming from, because you've communicated that throughout. When you're talking about your journey, you still come back to that and still relate to what you did before is influencing how you do your things now and how you view life and your personal growth. Like, I think someone can really see, like for me, I feel like you probably I would want to have such a career coach in my life to guide me through, maybe have that, see that light in my eyes.
Yeah.
At the end of it, that sounds amazing. So Amani, what are the things that you've done throughout the years that have nothing to do with science? Or I know there's one that you did that was converted into a career, but what are those things that you've done in your life that you didn't have to get paid to do them? What are the hobbies that you've done throughout the years?
Well, I love cooking and I love teaching cooking. So recently this summer, I was at this event in Estonia, and I was in a community with like 50, 60 people. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to teach you guys how to cook Lebanese food this evening. And we just got like 20 people together. We cooked for 3 hours, and I love that. I love cooking and I love teaching people how to cook. I love sharing that meal. That's definitely one of my biggest hobbies, let's say. And this sounds nerdy. Yes, I'm a nerd because it's part of my work. Personal development is part of my work. But I actually love personal development. Like, I can literally sit and watch documentaries, read books. Like, I spent a month out of my vacation this summer at a personal development event, just getting all nerdy and learning about everything related to personal growth and how you can become healthier, wealthier, more spiritual, like happier, you name it. Like, this is something I love learning about because I feel, life is an adventure, and I want to learn all the tools I possibly can to make the best out of this adventure. That's my main hobby, which is basically very related to my work.
Yeah. So it's not like it's not work, really.
Well, Richard Branson says this. He's like, find a job that you like so much that it does not feel like work.
Work, yeah. And you found that?
Most of the time. Look, every business, every job will have parts that you don't like. But most of the time, yes, I find it very fulfilling and fun. Yeah. Hey, I get to talk to nice people like you, having these conversations. Yes. Yeah.
Are there hobbies that you've dropped off over time?
Yes, and that's definitely something I want to pick up, dancing. Because I've drifted away from it, although I was always dancing as a kid and as a grown-up. But yeah, my focus has become so much now on my business, but also more like relationships. So I've become more focused on building deep and healthy relationships and community versus just going out to have fun. Right? So that's why the dancing kind of went in the back seat. But I'm hoping to bring that back. So to be able to bring dancing and community together.
Do you love eating?
Eating? I love eating. I mean, if you're a good cook, you must love eating, so, you know. I do. Are you going to invite me for dinner? I would love to try Kenyan food.
You mentioned that you loved traveling, and I can see you still travel up to date.
Yes.
So is it something you enjoy?
Oh, yes. Yes. I love traveling because like we were talking about earlier, when you travel, you can travel through knowing people, getting to know people.
Yeah.
But when you travel to a country, it's a deep immersion into that culture. It's like the best education in life. It's travel. Yeah.
Are there hobbies that you've thought about but you've not tried to do?
Hobbies that I've not tried. I love these questions because this is gonna make me hold myself accountable now to do it. Okay, I'm gonna tell it in public. So I've always wanted to sign up for a ceramics class. Yes, this is still on my bucket list. And there is pottery ceramics just here in my town, actually. The other thing I would love to do is learning how to craft with leather. My neighbor does that too, so that's super easy. And the third thing I would love to learn is flamenco dancing because I live in the south of Spain, and here the flamenco culture is just so beautiful. So much passion and emotions, and yeah. So that's something I would love to learn.
Why did you move to Spain?
Because Spain has always attracted me. You know, like how sometimes you go to a place and then you just feel that the vibe feels good and you just feel at home. I'm like, I like this place. There was something about this place. Oh, I just feel so good here. And Spain was one of the, I mean, I've traveled a lot. I've traveled a lot when I was a scientist and in Europe. And Spain has always been the country whenever I would come here, I'd be like, I feel good. And I just felt at home. And I feel like sometimes our home is not necessarily the physical home where we grew up and with our parents and all that. Our home can literally be somewhere that just feels so good. So I'm quite an intuitive person. I tend to follow my feelings quite a lot. I'm not always too rational. Sometimes maybe I should be, but I tend to my feelings are telling me Spain is a good place, so I should just move there.
Oh, okay. So you've learned Spanish?
Yes, it's not perfect, but yes, I can speak Spanish.
How many languages so far do you
know? Arabic, Swedish, English, German, Spanish, and then basic French from school.
Nice. Let's talk about your main hobby. I want you to tell the listener what you're doing and how they will gain being your client and why they should be your client.
Well, I don't think they should be my client because I think people can have this kind of transformation in so many ways. You know, when I started the path of personal development, I did the mistake like a lot of people do when they're just learning something new. You think you know it all and you think you have the answer to everybody's problems. And I don't think I'm the answer to everybody's problems. But I think the person who would like to work with me is probably somebody who's really want to grow, and not just as a scientist, not just professionally, but as a person. Like, yeah, you're probably nerdy like me and like, I want to grow. I want to learn how to become, more confident or whatever it is you want to learn in your life. Growth is something you absolutely crave. The second thing the person who would like to work with me is probably going to have is this desire to make a difference. Because that's the purpose. You probably want to grow because you want to use that growth to help people. And the third thing is to have lots of fun, because I don't do anything unless it's fun. So yes, so many times when we're coaching, when we're doing workshops, we dance, we even sing, we do silly stuff. And I know this is not for everybody. You know, there are some people, and when I've been giving workshops at universities, those people aren't my private clients. I sometimes get these feedback surveys. I didn't like the dancing part. And that's okay. Look, not everybody has to like what I do or how I do it. But as a trainer, I know what works, and I know what works for me. So those are the kind of people. Yeah, people who are into growth, people who are into making a difference and impact in the world, and people who enjoy having fun. Or if you're not having fun yet, maybe you want to learn how to have more fun. Yeah.
How can they reach you?
The best way to reach me is how we connected, LinkedIn. So connect on LinkedIn, send me a message there. But you can also find me on Instagram, email, or check out the website successbeyondthelab.com. Yeah, so if I can do a little promo, if people want to have a taste of a free training with me on September 15th, Central European time, it's going to be from 6 to 8 in the evening. I'm giving a free training for 2 hours. And no selling. This is not one of these trainings where, I'm getting you 2 hours and then I'm going to sell you something. No, I promise, no selling. So I really just want to give a training and, teach and share what I have to give to scientists. So the title is How to Identify and Launch Your Dream Career as a PhD. And people can find the event on my website, but also on my LinkedIn profile.
Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for telling us about that. That's the resource.
Yeah,
resource.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
How do you feel after having this conversation? It's over 2 it's 2 hours, 30 minutes.
Oh my God. I hope people are going to listen to this because it's a very long conversation to listen to. Yeah. No, I feel very full. I can feel that my heart, you know what I was telling you earlier, when you notice how you feel, your body, and you're feeling energized and you feel like your body is like excited. That's how I feel. I feel really good. And yeah, so thank you for this opportunity. It was a pleasure to share my story. And I really hope that, people will somehow benefit from this conversation we had.